Community forestry is important because the people who live closest to the forest are those who are able to manage the forest most effectively. They also have the most to lose if the forest is destroyed.
They are the integral part of the whole ecosystem, and the forest has been their this life and blood. They depend on forest for their livelihood. They have been depending on forest for generations, and they will continue to depend on the forest for their livelihoods.
Forest areas have always been considered amongst the poorest for a variety of reasons: lack of access, lack of basic infrastructure. But to me, the principal reason is that the most valuable resources in the forest have always been taken by outsiders. So usually in the past this was timber. Who takes the timber? Either large commercial concession companies or governments themselves. The communities, if they're lucky, get a little bit of low-paid employment in bad conditions. In many cases they don't even get that. How can you expect poverty to be reduced if the most valuable resource that is on people's doorstep is actually taken away from them?
I think one of the problems with conservation is often the people who've paid the price, the local communities, are not the people who receive the greatest benefits. So we ask people to make sacrifices, no longer having access for hunting or other forms of livelihood, but we don't give viable alternatives.
The biggest challenge is to actually, to ensure the rights of local people to the forest, and it is not easy. It is not easy, and then there are different stakeholders coming, having interest in private sectors and the stakeholders in the developed countries. They all have a stake, and they all are pushing their agendas.
I guess what we've seen around the world is that community action can actively restore forests. We've seen whole landscapes transformed in countries like Nepal over my working lifetime.
Oh, it's absolutely staggering, yeah. It's incredible. You have to remember that in Nepal it all started more from environmental concerns, the degradation of the Himalaya, but it's changed as development priorities have changed, and then community forestry is now expected to do so many things, and in Nepal it's actually demonstrated that it can protect the environment, it can improve people's livelihoods at the same time. And it can even improve social justice and social inclusion, and that the poorest of the poor are not left behind, but are actually given additional benefits through community forestry. And I think that's incredible, it really is.
It is a big, this paradigm shift, in terms of how the forest resources controlled, managed and used. So it is a big revolution in the whole forestry world, and then in a society.
The world knows it needs forests. It can only get that if it can come to an accommodation with local people where their needs are met, but more importantly, where their livelihoods are enhanced. We can't solve the global climate challenge just by focusing on community forestry and forest conservation in developing countries. But it's such a big part of the problem and the solution. Unless we address that, we can't reach global goals in terms of mitigating climate change.